ruling from Constantinople. Okay? And then the First World War took place. And during the First World War, they were able to take Mustafa Kemal and make him a god. And then the Turkish Grand National Assembly was called upon to abolish the Khilafah. They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it because they were afraid of the consequences within Turkey. But Mustafa Kemal, the British prevailed upon him, and he abolished the Khilafah. It was Abdul Majid, I think, who had taken over as Khalifa, and they abolished the Khilafah, and they sent Abdul Majid to Switzerland or somewhere, and they pulled the rug from underneath the Khilafat movement in India, because the Khilafat is gone. Good? But that was not enough. The Khilafat movement was comprised of men of great stature, great knowledge, great wisdom, and great faith in their hearts. I can't say the same thing for the All India Muslim League, but I could say it for the Khilafat movement. Yes. You needed something more to demolish the Khilafat state. And they used Muhammad Iqbal for that. That is the pain that is in my heart. Muhammad Iqbal will have to answer to Allah on Judgment Day. Had it not been for him, they would not have succeeded. They succeeded with him and they gave him the knighthood. He became Sir Muhammad Iqbal. You don't get a knighthood for serving the mission of Islam. No. You get knighted when you serve Britain. That's it when you get knighted. And he was knighted. It's painful for me to say this, because I love Iqbal. I have great respect for him. It's painful for me to say this. But what Iqbal did was to demolish the Khilafah model of a state, declaring that it cannot be restored, and we must now accept the Republican model of a state. But he did more than that. He did what a scholar should never have done. He said that the Republican model of a state is an adequate substitute for the Khilafah state. The Republican model of a state is an adequate substitute for the Khilafah state. I hope everybody understands English enough.
That's dangerous.
That is the greatest betrayal of all. Had it come from anybody else, the British would not have succeeded. But when it came from Iqbal, yes, it prevailed. And so Pakistan was born on the dead body of the Khilafah movement. Had the Khilafah movement not been sacrificed, you would not have had a Pakistan. My heart is with the Khilafat movement. And I long for the day when the Khilafat state can be restored. So if your loyalty is to Pakistan, by all means you go with your Pakistan. Leave me alone. Because my loyalty is with the Khilafat state and with the Khilafat movement of Maulana Muhammad Ali Jawhar and Maulana Shaukat Ali. This is the man who should be given the title of Qaid-e-Azam. The Qaid-e-Azam. Huh? Who is the one who is struggling to restore the Khilafah. Not the one who has betrayed the Khilafah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah had less than a passing acquaintance with the Quran. He never pretended to be a scholar. Yeah, he never pretended to be a scholar. His scholar was Iqbal. He followed from the guidance of Iqbal, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah never pretended to be what he's not. No. You could put a Dari and you could put a Pagri, whatever it is, Jinnah is still Jinnah. I'm not pretending to be anything. That is the greatness of Jinnah. He never pretended to be an alim. If this is what you want, I'll get it for you. And you have said goodbye to the Khilafat movement, don't blame me for that. You have said goodbye to the Khilafat movement. And you now want a Republican state, so okay, I'll give it to you. And he went ahead and he gave you what you wanted. He gave you what you wanted after Iqbal had demolished the Khilafat movement. This is the sad story. I can't say this in Pakistan, they'll probably throw stones at me. See? They throw stones at me in Pakistan if I say this. Because you're not allowed to criticize Muhammad Ali Jinnah. And you're most certainly not allowed to criticize Iqbal. They'll bar me, they'll send me out of Pakistan. But I shared with you what I consider to be the truth. Okay, so whether Pakistan survives or does not survive is not a matter with Allah. Because with Allah, it is the Khilafah state that He asks. Ya Dawood, إِنَّا جَعَلْنَاكَ خَلِيفَةً فِي الْأَرْضِ فَاحْكُمْ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ بِالْحَقِّ وَلَا تَتَّبِعِ الْهَوَىٰ. Look at Pakistan from the day it was born to this day. Can that be the model of Islam? Eh? Go into the market and you see a market with a den of thieves. Eh? And the poor people are being oppressed. And the rich barons driving their Pajeros and so on are living it up. Yeah? And they have mansions in London, and mansions in Dubai, and mansions in Los Angeles, and Pakistan ka matlab kya la ilaha illallah. This is nonsense. This can't be the religion of Islam. No. So when the time comes, Allah will sweep all the garbage into the garbage bin.
I have a question.
Yeah.
There's going to be alliance with the Orthodox Christians and the Muslims. But after the Great War, are the Orthodox Christians going to say because of the cross they won? Is that an authentic hadith, or is that just spanning the legs?
I have to prepare a lecture on that hadith. My method has been that I concentrate on the Quran, always the Quran. And when I have studied a subject from the Quran, and I'm satisfied that I have a sufficient grasp of it, only then do I turn to the hadith. And I look for a hadith which are in harmony with the Quran. And then I know I am on solid foundations. You can't challenge me, you can't shake me, not even with a bulldozer. You know what's a bulldozer? But the implication is I have to move slowly. When I find a hadith which is in conflict with the Quran, I put it aside and I stay with the Quran. The problem is that sometimes a hadith, part of the hadith will be in harmony with the Quran, and part would be in conflict with the Quran, like this one. To try to offer an analysis of such a hadith is a very ticklish thing. Good? And therefore I have to take my time. So I've never publicly lectured on this hadith, no. And I've been attacked left, right and center for I don't know how many years on this hadith, this hadith, this hadith. And all that I could do is to say to them, why don't you study methodology? Why don't you study methodology? That's all. I didn't say anything more. But it is clear to me, and I don't have the time tonight to elaborate on it. There is a part of this hadith which is clearly in harmony with the Quran. And there's a part which is in conflict with the Quran. And if you take out that part which is in conflict with the Quran, then there is no problem left. Yeah.
I have a question. You said that Gog and Magog brought the Jews back to the Holy Land. or is it the Dajjal who's the mastermind behind it, to bring the Jews back to the Holy Land? And then you said that they're going to use dinar and dirham in Israel, but isn't it an imposter state which shows as if it's this Holy Israel
You're
of...
asking two questions at once, you know that.
Yes, I
And the rules is one question at a time.
Okay, so
I'm 75 years of age.
so the second question.
Okay. This Israel is an imposter state. It has been established on the basis of lies, a mountain of lies and brutal oppression and deception. And this Israel will eventually be destroyed when Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns. Until then, however, it will remain. No matter what it does to dress it up, it will still be an imposter state. Even when it is using dinar and dirham as money, would it still not be an imposter state? Yes, that's the answer to your question. Even though it will be using dinar and dirham as money, it will still remain an imposter state. And the holy state of Israel will be restored only when Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns. Okay? What was your first question?
Whether Yajuj, Majuj...
Okay. Now then, if you'd done your homework, you'd have known that Allah speaks in the Quran about a Qarya. Which surah? وَحَرَامٌ, not the Hafiz, not the Hafiz, not the Hafiz, you. وَحَرَامٌ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ. Which surah? Anbiya, are you guessing, eh? Good guess. Suratul Anbiya. And Allah says, بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ وَحَرَامٌ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ. There's a town, he does not identify the town. But he destroys the town, he expels the people of the town and places a ban. They could never return to reclaim the town as their own until حتى إذا فتحت يأجوج ومأجوج, when Gog and Magog are released. وهم من كل حدب ينسلون, and they are a people with power which cannot be destroyed other than by Allah. So they spread out in all directions, so they take control of the world. So you have a word order of Gog and Magog. وهم من كل حدب ينسلون. Then you will see Gog and Magog bringing these people back to that town. The question is, which town is it? Okay? The Quran explains itself. And I bought a book in Manchester on Jerusalem. I opened the book on a page, and there on the page was evidence that I had missed. So I was negligent. Yes, I was negligent. That Allah speaks in two places of the Quran, one in Surah Al-Baqarah, and the other in, I can't remember, about a Qarya. The traveler was passing by the town, it was lying in ruins. A Qarya, a traveler is passing by a town, it's lying in ruins, and he says, I don't think this can ever be restored, and Allah caused him to die for 100 years. أَوْ كَالَّذِي مَرَّ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ. That is the first ayah. And here the word Qarya appears. And Ibn Kathir says the Qarya is Jerusalem. Yeah. And then there's another ayah where the word Qaryah appears. And Ibn Kathir says the Qaryah here is Jerusalem. It's in the Quran. And he's supported by other Mufassirun. Good? So if Qaryah twice in the Quran refers to Jerusalem, then there is the likelihood that Qaryah here refers to Jerusalem. Yeah. I came to the conclusion that the Qaryah is Jerusalem, and I am on solid foundations. Oh yes, I am on solid foundations. That Allah destroyed Jerusalem and expelled the Jews and placed a ban on them. They could never return to reclaim Jerusalem as their own. Kabhi nahi, not for 2,000 years. Hatta إذا فتحت يأجوج ومأجوج وهم من كل حدب ينسلون. So when you see the Jews returning to reclaim Jerusalem as their own after 2,000 years, you know there is an explanation for it in the Quran. Allah says in the Quran that this book is Tibyanan likulli shay. It explains all things. It therefore explains the return of the Jews to the Holy Land after 2,000 years. And here is the explanation. The Qaryah is Jerusalem. So it's not Dajjal, it's Gog and Magog. But now there is something that is mysterious. Mysterious. In 1917, the Bolshevik Revolution took place. And Iqbal responded to the Bolshevik Revolution with a couplet, a sher. Sher is couplet? Sher.
Yes.
खुल गए याजूज व माजूज के लश्कर तमाम. They all been released. This is bold language, eh? All have been released. खुल गए याजूज और माजूज के लश्कर तमाम. And then look at how he ends. चश्म मुस्लिम देख ले तफसीर हरफ यंसिलून वहुम कुल्ल हदब ينسلون وهم من كل حدب ينسلون. چشم مسلم داخل تفسير حرف ينسلون وهم من كل حدب ينسلون. Iqbal hit the nail on the head. On the head. He recognized that Gog and Magog had been released, and he said it in very bold language. The problem is, after that share came out of him, they sealed his mouth. They shut him up. And the mighty Iqbal could not speak one more word after that. That's it. Not one word until he died on Gog and Magog, after declaring what was absolute truth. Yeah. That's my answer to you, and it's now 8 o'clock.
You want to do one more question?
One more question.
Go on.
How do we protect ourselves from the tests of Dajjal?
How do we protect our sons from?
No, the Dajjal. He's
How
test
do
their
we
trials.
protect our sons from
Ourselves. Ourselves.
How do we protect ourselves from?
Dajjal.
From Dajjal.
What ways can we protect ourselves? Anything we can do?
Number one, you constantly recite the dua. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min azabil qabr wa min azabil nar wa a'udhu bika min fitnatil mahya wal mamat wa min fitnatil masihid dajjal. This is a dua that is masnoon. When last have you heard this dua being recited by anyone? When last? Huh? You heard?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, very good. I never heard. Very rare, very rare, very rare to have it. And this dua you should be reciting in every salat. this dua. Constantly, constantly, constantly. You should be reciting this dua with tears in your heart and tears in your eyes, because for dua, unless there are tears, is not dua, you know. Bagair asu, to koi dua nahi hai. Number 2. The Prophet ﷺ said, recite the first 10 ayat of Surah Al-Kahf for protection from the fitna of Dajjal. And because Dajjal sees with the left eye, he's blind in the right eye, it looks like a bulging grave. I say this is not muhkama, this is mutashabiha. This is therefore something to be subjected to ta'wil, to be interpreted. And my interpretation is that the left eye symbolizes external sight, and the blind right eye symbolizes internal blindness. But you don't have to accept my view, no. You don't have to accept my view. It is my view. And if you are internally blind, you have no nur. Nur is not sold in the supermarket. Nur is not sold in the stock market. يَهْدِ اللَّهُ لِنُورِهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah grants nur to whomsoever Allah chooses. Okay? And if you do not have nur in your heart, فَإِنَّهَا لَا تَعْمَى الْأَبْصَارُ وَلَكِنْ تَعْمَى الْقُلُوبُ الَّتِي فِي الصُّدُورِ. It's not these eyes which are blind. What is blind is the heart which is inside the chest. So you need nur to see. And he said, if you recite Surah Al-Kahf on the day of Jum'ah, you get nur. And the nur will remain with you until the next Jum'ah. Yes. So you should be doing that. This is the beginning of the process. But then also you have to study. Dajjal is a jasad. وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا سُلَيْمَانَ وَأَلْقَيْنَا عَلَى كُرْسِيهِ جَسَدًا ثُمَّ أَنَابَ. When Suleiman saw that jasad on his throne in a vision, he understood that the jasad wants to take over my state, Holy Israel. I don't want that, because that jasad is an evil being. So he made a dua. قَالَ رَبِّ اغْفِرْ لِي وَهَبْ لِي مُلْكًا لَا يَنْبَغِي لِأَحَدٍ مِّن بَعْدِي. I don't want that jasad to ever inherit my state of Israel. So I pray to you for a state which can belong to none after me. وَهَبْ لِي مُلْكًا لَا يَنْبَغِي لِأَحَدٍ مِّن بَعْدِي. This comes immediately after وَأَلْقَيْنَا عَلَى كُرْسِيهِ جَسَدًا. They are linked together. They are linked together. وَأَلْقَيْنَا عَلَى كُرْسِيهِ جَسَدًا وَهَبْ لِي مُلْكًا لَا يَنْبَغِي لِأَحَدٍ مِّن بَعْدِي. The two are linked together. It is because he saw that jasad sitting on his throne, an evil being. He recognized it wants to take over, it wants to inherit my holy state of Israel. So he makes this dua that, oh Allah, grant me a state which none can inherit, none can belong to none after me. Okay? I came to the conclusion that the jasad is Dajjal, but you don't have to accept what I say. And there's no need for any boxing gloves. If you're uncomfortable with me, leave me alone. Yes, leave me alone. There are hundreds of thousands of scholars out there. Just leave me alone if you're uncomfortable with me. No need for any boxing gloves to box matches with me. No, no. I'm not going to make the effort to convince anyone that I'm correct. No. Not me. So I came to the conclusion, if I am wrong, and you point out and convince me I'm wrong, I pray to Allah to bless you, because I'll be a fool. Huh? I've made a mistake and someone correct me and I'm not willing to accept it. I would be a fool. But if you cannot correct me, and you're saying I'm wrong, well then leave me, go somewhere else. This is not pride, this is not arrogance, no. This is when Khidr said to Musa alayhi salam, إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعِيَ صَبْرًا وَكَيْفَ تَصْبِرُ عَلَى مَا لَمْ تُحِطْ بِهِ خُبْرًا. So, you know that you are being attacked by Dajjal when you see a jasad, an external shell with nothing inside. That is the money you're using now. Yeah. That's the money you're using now. And you've been using for 100 years now. An external shell was for kagas, silk kagas, holy paper, and nothing inside. And yes, there were ulama in India whose names should be written in gold. Gold. There were ulama in India 100 years ago who stood up and warned the people, this is haram. Stay with your dinar and dirham. Today they are forgotten. We don't even know their names. But the establishment betrayed us. Yes. The established scholars of Islam betrayed us 100 years ago because they could not recognize a jasad, an external shell with nothing inside. Now even the shell is going with the new money, which is electronic money and digital money and cryptocurrencies, and you're going to get fatwa coming tomorrow that this is also halal. Yeah. So it's time for me to fall off and go. Go, leave them, leave them, leave them, leave them, leave them, go. Let them remain with their bogus fatwas. Yeah. You have to excuse me. You have to be patient with me. Because remember, your brother Imran has been talking for 20 years now. So if I have lost patience, if I get angry sometimes, if my language is harsh sometimes, forgive me, because I'm really, really pained inside here. Okay, that is my answer to Dajjal.